There's nothing wrong with crying. That's your first language. And I think that if more people cried, less people would have depression and anxiety. Less people would be angry. Less people would have a whole lot of burdens and sicknesses and diseases in their bodies. Tears have a way of refreshing your spirit. Tears have a way of making you feel lighter. Even Jesus cried. For the first, not the first, but for all of my 20s, which 10 years straight, I cried. And now I get to reap the reward of all the tears that I cried. In my 30s, I very rarely cried, but it's because I cried so much in my 20s. I cried for the little girl that had not ever healed. I cried for the little girl who had never had permission to feel her feelings. I cried for the little girl who had been abandoned. I cried for the little girl who had been rejected. I cried for the little girl who always wanted to be seen, who always wanted to be loved. I cried for her. So for the person that said you've been having crying spells, continue to cry until you don't have any more tears to cry. There's nothing wrong with tears. There's something wrong with holding them back. There's something wrong with acting like you're not human. Again, tears are your first language. The first thing you do when you're born is cry. To communicate what you need, you cried. To speak when you were uncomfortable, you cried. When you were hungry, you cried. That was your first language, and somehow people taught us that tears were weakness when tears are your first language. Who am I helping besides the person who said they've been having crying spells? You consider yourself weak because you cry. But I consider you stronger every time a tear drops from your eyes. I consider you stronger. I consider you refreshed. God considers you refreshed. Crying is a communication style. It's communicating something in you needs to break. Something in you needs to heal. Something in you needs to come alive.